So, what all goes into managing growing pumpkins? Because I know they don't grow year round. Obviously, you've got to plan it out to where they're growing in the fall. You're going to have a bunch of them. What all goes into planning it for your super busy season?
We actually start in that process probably in December, January already because we
Mm,
start ordering seed just because, hey, we need to know what's sold really well. And like certain varieties just don't sell very well. We can sell a 3 to 5 pound orange pumpkin. Every kid loves it. They can hold it in their hand. They love them. There's a variety that's the same size, but it's yellow and people don't want to touch them. And it's
hmm,
so you kind of like go, well, that doesn't make any sense. You would think, hey, well, the family is going to pick up so many different kinds. And ultimately, there's just certain varieties that people want more than others. We can grow a mini wart, which is 3 to 5 pounds. It has warts on the pumpkin itself. Can't sell them, but we have one that's 18 pounds, and everybody wants to buy them because they just look really
mm,
really cool. There's a lot to know in where are we going to in the process of where we're going to plant them next year starts right now because we don't really like to go back to back in the same soil. So there's a lot of planning and sometimes we just kind of hope, oh, maybe the neighbor wants to trade with us. We'll grow corn on our farm so that they can have it and we can grow pumpkins on. We like to grow pumpkins on what we call fresh ground every single year because, like, Isaac was looking at pumpkins just a couple hours ago and he sent me a video. It's all fresh ground pumpkins. He saw already 4 to 5 pumpkins on a plant. And that tells me, well, first of all, the weather's been fantastic this year. But that
mhm.
also tells me, we're in prime dirt. And whenever you can put pumpkins in fresh ground that's never been touched by pumpkins before, your yields just go up off the chart. So there's a lot in the process of from start to finish. And then every variety has a different amount of days. So we have a variety that's called Fairy Tale. We have to start them in April. They take 130 days to grow them from plant to maturity. And then we have a variety that makes a 12-pound pumpkin. It takes 80 days or sometimes less to grow a pumpkin. So you want to plant those accordingly because anytime you have a pumpkin that sits too long on the vine, you always run the risk of sunburn and then you got product that nobody wants to buy, right? Nobody wants to buy
Mm.
a pumpkin that has like a big sun splotch on it. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just discolored. It's just like our produce in the grocery store. You're going to pick up the one that has the blotch? No, I don't think so. So it's pretty important to schedule all of your plantings out, and we're almost done seeding. We've got a couple of varieties that we'd like to plant yet. I just felt like we were kind of short on that particular size, and I knew that with the amount of days until Halloween, if we were to guess how many days till Halloween, I think it's like 108 days
Okay.
until Halloween. Or wait, no, 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 no. It's 120 something. I can Google that real quick.
A
uh,
hundred and something days till Halloween, at least. Yeah.
Days to Halloween. Let's see what it says. 126 days from today.
Oh, you were
I
close. 126 days. Okay.
I have one variety that's like 110 days, and that's usually on back east numbers.
Hmm.
Our weather is better than any of the farms back east. So I can probably get that down to 102, 100 days. So I still have plenty of time to ripen those pumpkins. Does that make any sense? It's right
Yeah,
on the
no, totally.
line.
Hmm.
It's right on the line, but because there's but it's like one particular size that I was like, I think we're kind of short on that size. Um, so there's a lot of planning that goes into it.
It sounds like it. And before I forget, do you ship anything out east for like pumpkin
No,
patches or something
no.
like that? Because I know that's a huge thing.
Yeah, no, there's some growers in New Mexico and Colorado that grow,
Okay.
1,000 acres each, and they can ship them. I can buy pumpkins in New Mexico, and they can ship them out here cheaper than if I buy them from, like, say, my best friend, who's 25 minutes down the road. Uh,
Hmm.
it's just it's just California. Hmm.
That's true. Yeah, I remember growing up at my church. We had a pumpkin patch every October, and so we would get them. I think like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Halloween would really start, and we would go out there. We'd get a huge semi truck, and we'd unload all the pumpkins, and then we would like work it every couple of days. And we had to go out there like every night and rotate the pumpkins so that it wouldn't get
Yeah,
mildewy on the bottom of them. And I just remember
yeah,
like there were huge pumpkins, little pumpkins, and like you said, I mean, even working at a pumpkin patch, the consumers they wanted the perfect round orange pumpkin. They didn't want something that was
yeah,
lumpy. They didn't want something that
yeah,
was oval or misshapen. They want a perfectly
yeah.
beautiful pumpkin.
No, and my guys are really good when they're harvesting out in the fields. I mean, there are sometimes what we would call a flat back where they just
Mhm.
won't ever stand up on their own. And that's usually
Mm.
either it was short on water, or something happened that it just didn't make a perfect pumpkin. But we usually leave those out in the field or we feed them to cattle. So uh, everything usually has a purpose.
There you go. And so, in addition to pumpkins, you guys also grow flowers and tulips, right?
Yeah, so this year was phenomenal for tulips. We had almost, what did we have? 26 inches of rain in California, which our
Oh
normal
wow.
is 13. Our normal is 13. So tulips love cold. They love wet, and that's what we got. And so it was that one year in however many that those they just did exceptionally well. I remember one particular variety, one of the first ones to bloom, bloomed nearly 4 weeks before they faded all the way out. It was
Oh
at least
wow.
three. It was at least three, and that's rare for our area. Normally
Mhm.
2 weeks, normally 2 weeks on a variety, but yeah, it was a phenomenal year for that. And then so baby animal days then morphs into, or sorry, baby animal days comes immediately after tulip season.
Okay.
And so that's your season where families can come to the farm. They can still do a lot of the attractions, but like the slides, the zip lines, all that kind of stuff, tricycle track. But they're actually able to hold baby chicks, a goat, a lamb, petting zoo type thing. We do a really nice job with that. We keep our animals uh, year round. We used to sell a bunch of them. It's super expensive to do it like this, where you feed them year
Hmm.
round, but we can identify who's naughty and who's nice. and, and so,
There you go. That's a good
you know,
strategy.
not every goat is a loving goat, right? And so we can identify because we're around them every single day, and then we can see
Mhm.
behaviors that. But since they're grown up in our system, basically, it's like it's 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 really amazing how, like, most of the animals that we have that are born at the farm are always super chill. And that
Mm,
is the key. You want animals that are like, hi, hi, you don't want them to be aggressive, obviously, because, a lot of people don't understand that. And well, why is this cute little goat like wanting to headbutt me? You know, um, it happens. And, but we try to educate people and say, hey, this is what's going to happen occasionally. But if we see a pattern starting, we can remove that animal, and then we've
mhm,
always got 5 to 10 others that'll take its spot, just because. Um, yeah. So, and I show that process too. I mean, we're this fall we're always in breeding season. So if you see the male goat climbing on some of the ladies, it's like, well, kids, this is what happens. This is how we
this is a
get
teachable
babies
moment.
first. Teachable moment. So, and I think those are good things. I think because in the cases of, like, say, a vegan, for instance, or people that aren't vegan or but are considering a lifestyle change, they have a better understanding of how they're raised and why they're raised a particular way, and then they can make that decision later on in life, whether they choose to go eat an animal or not. But
Mhm.
so we use it as a teaching tool, and the animals are a huge, huge teaching tool.